What up, people? It's your boy, and welcome to another unscheduled live episode of Just My Opinion podcast. I believe this is going to be episode 9. Uh, Here we are, 4:14 in the morning. Decided to do a few things as far as running an errand. Yes, 4 in the morning. But there's a lot of stuff I need to get done before I start my productive day, my productive Friday. I hope everyone has a great, productive, and lovely Friday. We're going to go into the weekend. I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. I hope you're off on the weekend. But nevertheless, I'm here, and I just noticed this. Well, first I was going to talk about the decline of James Harden. I might do that a little bit later during this episode. But I was scrolling through the interwebs and I saw this on my timeline. And keep this in mind. This is just a rumor. This is not factual. Okay, I want to go ahead and put that out there. But there is an article that suggests about teams potentially making moves. All right. And one of these fantasy type moves is a 3-team blockbuster between the Los Angeles Lakers, the Portland Trail Blazers, and the New Orleans Pelicans. All three of these teams need to make moves. Okay, let's just go ahead and put that out there for different reasons. The Lakers need to make a move because they need to change their roster. And you guys know I've been telling you guys since day one about their off-season selections and signings and trades. I was not too pleased. I was not too happy. I feel like Rob Pelinka, LeBron James, Jeannie Buss, all three of them deserve a huge slice of the blame pie in orchestrating this roster. I'm not going to go too far into it. I don't want to make this episode too long. You know how I feel about the New Orleans Pelicans. Zion Williams is degressing. He's getting a lot heavier. He's in and out of the lineup. He's consistently injured, just like the former superstar of the Pelicans, Anthony Davis. He just can't stay healthy. He hasn't been healthy in a full NBA calendar season, and people should worry about that. One of these days, we're going to talk about that, about why there's a lot of players out there that just can't stay healthy. And Zion Williams is one of those individuals. Remember, the New York Knicks was going to move heaven and hell to select Zion Williams because they felt like he was going to be the next one. But I think that's not, the production that he's giving to the Pelicans is not worthy of his draft status. And the Portland Trail Blazers, the House of Cards, the Portland Trail Blazers, they need a change immediately. They got rid of their player of operations. Apparently, he was doing some questionable things in the front office on how he handled and talked and treat people. The Portland Trail Blazers were supposed to be one of those teams that's going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. They have fallen off. They have gotten rid of their coach. They're starting off fresh, and that's not working for the Portland Trail Blazers. And Damian Lillard is not too pleased or amused with what Portland has done during the offseason and as of right now. I forgot the player's name. I apologize. He's out of the lineup due to his heart. So the Portland Trailblazers has a slew of bad luck and they just need a fresh start. They need to start this thing all over again. They're probably going to be like the Houston Rockets when the Houston Rockets got rid of James Harden. Which, by the way, if you look at that trade, what the Brooklyn Nets gave up in return of getting James Harden, and if you look at that trade as of right now, and I did a piece on this trade, and I said clearly the Brooklyn Nets won that trade. But now, if you look at it right now, the Houston Rockets might be the actual winners of this trade because James Harden has done decline. He's not the same James Harden like he used to be. And I contributed to a lot of things. I feel like that year where he was demanding a trade and he was doing the strip club tour. He never, and let's go ahead and face facts. James Harden was never a guy that treated his body real well. He didn't go into the off season training his body because in the off season he would go to fashion events with rappers. He would go to the strip club. He would do X, Y, Z, A, B, C every day, all day, whatever James Harden wanted to do. And the Houston Rockets organization was held hostage because what can you say to him? All right. And they tried for 3 straight years, they tried plugging a superstar alongside James Harden, and it just did not work. So I remember when I said, wow, the Brooklyn Nets got someone special with James Harden, particularly what he did in his final year with the Rockets. And when he finally got traded to the Brooklyn Nets, you just saw the possibility of James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. We was all talking about the next big 3. Well, since that time, the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving is on hiatus because of the vax mandate. He's not happy with that. And when you look at James Harden, he has degressed. He's not the same James Harden like he used to be. So, and now I'm pretty sure privately, Kevin Durant is saying to himself, man, I had a good thing with the Golden State Warriors. If I would have just stayed with the Golden State Warriors, even if the Golden State Warriors didn't make the playoffs for the next couple of years, I think I would have been good in the hood with that because there was one year where he didn't even play at all because he was injured. So technically, possibly, if he wanted to, he could have missed both years with the Golden State Warriors, come back to the Golden State Warriors with a healthy Steph Curry that's doing some phenomenal numbers with the Golden State Warriors. Got them. The Golden State Warriors have the best record in the NBA, and they got all of this young talent, a lot of this young addition, and they got a favorable contract with one of the players. Plus, Klay Thompson hasn't even gotten into the lineup. They're going to put him slowly but surely into the lineup. All right. So the Golden State Warriors are doing some phenomenal things without the services of Kevin Durant. And I guarantee you, Kevin Durant is probably saying to himself, the Brooklyn Nets is not the team that he thought that could take it to the next step. And they never had a history of that. All right. And they just don't have the pieces. Okay. So if you look at these 3 teams, all 3 of these teams have issues. They all have issues. And the Lakers, I feel like their biggest issue is the construction of that roster. I feel like the Pelicans' issue is just bad luck, a slew of bad luck things that is going on with the Pelicans. And when you look at the Portland Trail Blazers, front office moves, coaching moves, injured players that's going to that can help and contribute to as far as the wins and losses go. and a frustrated Damian Lillard that you're going to lose anyway. So all three of these teams have issues, and all three of these teams need to desperately seeking Susan need to make some drastic changes in order to have a better future. Now, with this trade proposal, does this mean that they're going to win the NBA Finals? I feel like the Lakers have the possibility of winning the NBA Finals. I feel like if this trade happens, the Portland Trail Blazers will have a fresh start with a superstar that will probably want to be there because he wants his max money. And if you look at the we had Portland, the Lakers, and New Orleans Pelicans. Well, New Orleans Pelicans would have a superstar that would probably stay there because of he wants to make his max money. And you have man, I am slipping this morning. God damn. All right, so let's go ahead and go into this trade proposal. So this trade proposal is the players are also going to be moved in this deal, but I'm just only talking about the bigger names. This 3-team proposal, this 3-team blockbuster trade, the Lakers would get Damian Lillard. The New Orleans Pelicans would get Brandon Ingram. And the Portland Trail Blazers will get Russell Westbrook. Does this mean that all three of these teams are going to be contenders for the playoffs? I feel like one of these teams would be on the road of being a contender for the playoffs, and I feel like the other two teams are looking for fresh starts. Portland will finally secure a superstar that wants to be there in Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is a young player that just isn't in the right place. Okay. Just has bad luck of being in the right place. When he was with the Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers organization, the front office, the training staff, the coaching staff, even the LeBron James sort of felt this guy. This guy never developed who he could have possibly be for the Lakers, and the Lakers had to give him up in order to get AD because LeBron James wanted AD. Some people in the organization like Jenny Buss wanted AD, and Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson wanted to make that move to put their jobs to solidify their jobs, even though Magic Johnson started negotiations with the Pelicans, and Rob Pelinka finished it because Magic Johnson didn't want to give up everything for Anthony Davis, even though he thought Anthony Davis was a phenomenal talent. He did not want to give up everything that they've been working for and trading for to get young athletic players on their roster. They had to give up Alonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, a slew of other players and draft picks just to get the services of Anthony Davis. Magic Johnson did not want to do that. Rob Pelinka, who didn't have who didn't draft these players, he didn't have a history with these players, had no problem of getting rid of these players. When you look at the Portland Trail Blazers, the Portland Trail Blazers will get Brandon Ingram. That will be a mid-tier star. He's not a superstar. He's not on the cusp of a Damian Lillard, but he can finally flourish and become the player that we all thought he could have been when he was with the Los Angeles Lakers and was with the New Orleans Pelicans. And he'll finally be at a home that have a history of being in the playoffs. I think the Portland Trail Blazers holds the record of consecutively being in the playoffs. So And then you have a coach out there, and you have a front office that's young, but is slowly but surely building. And you can build around Brandon Ingram, okay, of being your superstar, so to say, for your team. The Pelicans with Russell Westbrook, obviously, this move will be a move of we're trying to sell tickets. Russell Westbrook can continue to be Russell Westbrook. He could, still try to chase the triple double record. He can still do the highlights, and all that will not contribute them as far as consistently going into the playoffs or possibly winning an NBA title. But with his name alone and his likeness alone, he will keep fans in the seat and keep them entertained until he can no longer do it no more. And I feel like this will be the final stop for Russell Westbrook. I think the value of trading Russell Westbrook is dwindling every minute that goes by. So a trade like this, it needs to be in the workings right now, and hopefully this can be done before the trade deadline, because I don't feel like next year Russell Westbrook is going to demand a lot of teams trading for him, particularly teams that are cellar dwellers that's trying to entertain their fans by selling season tickets and selling tickets and popcorn and parking and all that good stuff. He still has a name where he can still do that for a cellar dweller in NBA team. It's not that many out there. All right. So it will be new life for all three of these teams. Okay. Now, like I said, I feel like the Lakers, if this trade does go down, even though this is a speculation trade, this is one of those rumor type trades. There's no evidence proven that any of these organizations have been communicating as far as orchestrating a 3-team trade. And 3-team trades are difficult to complete because you have you have to catch these teams at the right opportunity at the right time, and you have to keep the communication lines open. And there could be a possibility where this could not happen. I feel like it's a 90%. If I had to put a percentage on it, 90% saying that this trade is not going to happen, because it's very difficult to do 3-team trades. And if you look at the 3 teams, the Lakers would clearly want this to happen. The Pelicans are wishy-washy on making this happen, and the Portland Trail Blazers still have hope that Damian Lillard will just stay there. Okay, so it's hard and difficult to make these trades, and on the outside looking in, you have to look at the Portland Trail Blazers and the Portland Trail Blazers and the New Orleans Pelicans, and you have to say to yourself, this will be a downgrade, a possible downgrade for them. Now, if you look at what the Portland Trail Blazers are going to get, maybe a downgrade of losing Damian Lillard, but you're probably going to lose him anyway. And in return, you got a decent player and not too shabby. And if you look at it that way, I feel like Portland is looking at it like, okay, we're not giving up that fast for Dame Dollar, so let's just wait it out. Okay, similar to what the New Orleans Pelicans were doing with Anthony Davis. They was just waiting it out, okay, until they couldn't wait no longer, and they had to just go ahead and make the move. And the Los Angeles Lakers sweetened the pot by just giving up draft picks and all of their young talent, okay, which, by the way, a lot of you LeBron James fans say that LeBron, even though, and I can co-sign to this, LeBron James is a facilitator And LeBron James talent can fit on any roster, on any team, on any system, but he's a facilitator for a team that's already have a solidified two talented players, all right, or one talented player. LeBron James' talent and his IQ does not relate well with younger players. So that's why the struggle was real when LeBron James went to the Los Angeles Lakers, and he had Alonzo Ball, who was more of a facilitator, just like LeBron James. When you have a Brandon Ingram who was trying to develop into a player, all right, and you had a slew of other younger players, and they were the baby Lakers. And at first, they was doing some crazy things. They were, their win-loss record was good until LeBron James went down with a injury, and they started struggling. And when LeBron James came back, they still continued to struggle. And then finally, LeBron James said, "Look, I can't do nothing with this roster." So out goes Magic Johnson, because Magic Johnson really didn't want to give up the whole entire roster for Anthony Davis anyway. Then you had the tampering accusations. You had Magic Johnson simply just not having fun anymore, because there was a lot of people in that front office that was painting a bullseye on Irving Magic Johnson's chest. Plus, you had the influx with the family of the Bus family, who is going to be running the Lakers, the brothers, or Jeannie Buss, Jeannie Buss or her brother, and Jeannie Buss won that battle. You had all that going on, and you had all that going on, and finally the pressure just came where they had to say, "Okay, look, we have to make a move, even if it means giving up on our future, giving up on all this young talent. At least we got Kuz." They didn't get Kuz, even though they didn't want Kuz, and that's when that trade happened. All right, and yes, they won a title, but ever since then, even though if you want to just tip your hat and hang your hat on, well, at least all those moves equated to a title. Yes, you won one title, but just think if LeBron James had the ability where he can keep the talent that he had on that roster, think how phenomenal it would have been if he would have kept that young talent, and they won the championship without Anthony Davis. And now you still have your picks. You still have that young crop of talent. If later on down the road they start if they start losing or contributing and helping the team, at least you can finally trade those people. If you look at Alonzo Ball, he is flourishing with the Chicago Bulls. If you look at Brandon Ingram, it's not Brandon Ingram's fault that the New Orleans Pelicans are struggling. The New Orleans Pelicans are struggling because they can't keep Zion Williams on the floor, and the decisions that they have made thus far, as far as building around Zion Williams instead of building around Brandon Ingram. All right. So it's not his fault. He's still putting up numbers. But overall, that organization is terrible right now. All right. So, yeah, the Lakers, when you look at this 3-team proposal, obviously the Lakers are going to benefit by getting Dame Dollar, because they need a scorer. The Los Angeles Lakers need two things from this trade. They need to get younger, and they need to get a scorer. Dame Dollar is young and can score the ball. Plus, he's coachable. He will play defense. I'm not saying that he's a shutdown defender, but he will play defense. And Russell Westbrook never wanted to play defense. Even in his prime, he never wanted to play defense. Uh, he will play only enough to get that triple-double. Okay? So you don't have to worry about that. The turnovers are going to go down because Russell Westbrook is not on the roster no more, even though LeBron James is also giving up the ball. But by getting Dame, obviously the ball is going to be around him. All right. And he's going to make everybody else day a lot better. LeBron James is not getting younger. He's getting older. You're not getting the LeBron James of old, his first stint in Cleveland, or when he went to the Miami Heat, okay? Or his second stint when he had that phenomenal year where he won a title for Cleveland. You're not getting any of those LeBron James. You're getting a much older, injury-prone LeBron James that just can't put up those godly numbers he did back in the day. He's a service. I feel like when you say this, it sounds like it's blasphemy or, you're hating on LeBron James. But LeBron James is just not that guy. He's not. He's a superstar with his resume. He's a superstar with his career. But if you look at what he's giving to the Los Angeles Lakers right now, he's an above average a star, not a superstar. You can't build around LeBron James. You could in the past, you can't now. The Los Angeles Lakers need another superstar. Okay? Right now, they got a bunch of names on the jersey. Carmelo Anthony was a former superstar. Russell Westbrook is a former superstar. Okay? You got a lot of people on that roster. Dwight Howard was a former superstar. Rondo was a former superstar. You got a lot of players with some phenomenal careers in their time in the NBA, but you don't win titles because of you got a bunch of players that have phenomenal careers. You win titles by what you have on the roster and how that contributes to your team ultimately winning a title. They're getting older and they don't have the capability of playing defense. And those are two things you can't be behind the 8 ball on. So getting Dame, they will be adding a young superstar to their ball club and a quicker superstar that can shoot and doesn't mind playing defense. The two things the Lakers need to have, and I feel like that's a cultural change. Once they see Dame on the court and they start and they see what Dame can do on the court, everyone else is going to follow suit. Everyone else is going to say, okay, well, if Dame Dollar is out here defending, if Dame Dollar is getting his shots up at a phenomenal rate, all that stuff contributes and help a team. And then next thing you know, you start winning a game here, you win a game there, you start getting on a 3-game winning streak, a 5-game winning streak, a 7-game winning streak, possibly a 10-game winning streak. And then guess what? You're going up. Your standings go up, and the possibility of you going to the playoffs increases. Okay. Now, with the next team I'm about to mention, which is the Portland Trail Blazers, they're getting Brandon Ingram. And that's going to be the second team that can benefit from this trade. I'm doing it in order. Brandon Ingram going to Portland. Now Portland doesn't have to worry about the possibility of losing Dame. That possibility is gone. Dame is gone. And they will have a star that has a possibilities in the making of becoming a superstar. He's not at that status yet. He's a star, but if you build around Brandon Ingram, that can help your roster. You'll have a player on your squad that wants to be there because all he wants is the max money. He's not looking to chase titles. If the titles happen, they happen. But he's one of those players. He's concrete. He's concrete, and he's he just wants his max money. Wants to play basketball. If you build around Brandon Ingram, there's a maybe down the road. Can the Pelicans become contenders? I mean, Pelicans. The Blazers, can they become contenders? So the Blazers will have a star that has the possibility of becoming a superstar, and you could just build around that. And by him being young, you got some time left to build around and have a contending team. Now, third on that list is the Pelicans. All right. What does this mean to the Pelicans? Well, the Pelicans, as of right now, and I feel like for the next 2 years, you got a player in Russell Westbrook that's a human highlight film. And he's going to entertain the fans in the arena. He's going to entertain the fans of the Pelicans who watch the Pelicans on television or on their laptops or smartphones. He's a human highlight waiting to happen. Okay. I don't think when you put Russell Westbrook in your lineup, that does not equate to being a contender. I feel like you'll be in the middle of the pack, somewhat in the middle of the road. If me personally, if you want to be contending in the standings, but not necessarily contending for a playoff spot. But I feel like, to be fair and to be honest, if they lose a lot of games, they will get a number of ping pong balls to select another. They will just be going into the draft, and you still got Russell Westbrook in your lineup, and you still people still are buying season tickets and tickets in general. Still want to come to the arena, yada yada yada. Now, if you are interested in becoming a contender, New Orleans Pelicans, then you need to act fast and move fast on Zion Williams. Or are you still trying to build around Zion Williams? Russell Westbrook, having Russell Westbrook on your roster, he's not a facilitator. He's a scorer. Can his talent blend well with Zion Williams? If you can get Zion Williams on the court, by the way. But let's just say hypothetically, you can get Zion Williams on the court. Now, look at Zion Williams, look at Russell Westbrook. I feel like it's like oil and water. I think Russell Westbrook is going to get the boatload of shots. He's going to get the ball all the time. And it's going to be a lot of nights where, you don't get to see the full evolution of Zion Williams because you got Russell Westbrook with the ball. But I feel like ultimately Russell Westbrook will facilitate to Zion Williams. But you will never see what could have been with Zion Williams. One, because you got Russell Westbrook on the court. And two, Zion Williams you have to look at thus far what he's been doing. And right now he's been out of the lineup. Okay. So do the New England Patriots, do the New Orleans Pelicans still believe in Zion? If I was the New Orleans Pelicans, I would trade Zion. I would trade Zion for a multitude of picks. I would trade Zion Williams to the Charlotte Hornets, who don't mind, giving up a boatload of their picks. Okay. I would trade Zion Williams to the Orlando Magic, that wouldn't mind giving the New Orleans Pelicans a slew of picks. Okay. I would trade Zion Williams to teams like that where I can raid them out of their picks and possibly some of their young talent. I know that sounds blasphemy. I know a lot of you guys are going to light up the comment section, say, "Are you crazy? Or are you an idiot? You don't know nothing about basketball. You are already giving up on Zion Williams." Yes. What have Zion Williams proven to you guys that he's going to be that difference maker for the New Orleans Pelicans? You got Russell. If now, like I said, this trade is a rumor. Okay, it's not a realistic trade. This blockbuster 3-team deal trade. This is not that type of trade. I don't think this trade is going to happen. Okay, so if I already told you going in that this trade 90%, I believe it's 90% in favor of this trade not happening. The rest of the speculation I'm saying around this trade is just speculation. All right. So if this, let's just say that this trade do happen, that this trade do work. Okay, you got Russell Westbrook on your roster, and you got Zion Williams, who's in and out of your roster. That will slowly become Russell Westbrook's team. He will have the ball 95% of the time. And yeah, he'll facilitate Zion Williams with fancy passes and close to the basket passes. But you know, other than that, you're going to be you're not going to really see the full potential of Zion Williams. All right. So that's what's going on. If this trade is true, winners and losers, definitely the Lakers will be a huge winner. A huge winner. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. They will be a huge winner if this trade is true. Like I said earlier in this episode, I do not believe realistically this trade is going to happen. Okay. And like I said earlier in this episode, generally when you do 3-team deals, they fall off. Okay. Because you gotta get it done at the right time. Okay. You just can't let this marinate on the back stove too long. You have to hurry up and get this done, because guess what? When the word gets out that that y'all working a 3-team deal, other teams are going to lure the New Orleans Pelicans and say, "Hey, we got a better deal for Brandon Ingram." Okay, or talk to Portland and say, "Hey, Portland, you're finally giving up on Dame Dollar. We got a better deal than what you're doing with the Los Angeles Lakers." So it generally trades like this generally fall apart real fast, real quick. Okay. So yeah, that's all I gotta say on that topic. Another topic, real fast, real quick. We're gonna talk about the decline of James Harden. I briefly talked about it earlier in this episode. Like I said, I remember when it was a couple of seasons ago where I remember the trade itself. Let me rewind that real fast. When the trade was done, when the deed was done, and James Harden went to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn gave up on players, on their they mortgage their draft picks, their future picks, and they gave all that away for a James Harden. I remember when I talked about it in my video, wins and losses, clearly everybody was going towards the Brooklyn Nets one. And because you saw the possibilities of James Harden with Kevin Durant, with Kyrie Irving. Everyone was talking about that's a super team. That team is going to go all the way. There's not a team in the league that can compete with those three individuals on one ball club. And what happened? No one said what was going to happen actually happened. It was not solidified in concrete. But after they did that trade, a lot of stuff came down the road. Kyrie Irving was in and out of the lineup. Kevin Durant was slowly but surely becoming the Kevin Durant that we all knew and loved because he was on hiatus because of his injury. They were really utilizing James Harden in a multitude of games. Last year, they made it all the way, but they just couldn't get past the Milwaukee Bucks, even though Kyrie Irving got injured in that series. All right. And James Harden was a shell of himself because he was already injured. And now this year, Kyrie Irving is on hiatus because of the vax mandate up there. He does not want to take the vaccine. And like I told you guys in numerous videos, I think that was, I feel like Kyrie Irving priorities. There's a lot of things that's above the priority list of Kyrie Irving, more important to him than basketball. Now, I think he loves basketball. I think he likes playing basketball, but he's one of those guys that if you know people like this that are phenomenal at the workplace, but doesn't want to work full time at the workplace or be committed 100% at the workplace, but you look at them and say they can do a multitude of things, and if I can get this employee to do X, Y, and Z, that would really help our business grow. And you try to figure out ways to encourage them to do which anyone else, you ask anyone else this will be above and beyond what they're capable of doing. But with this person, they can multitask and do 3 or 4 different things, and that will really help the business. If you can motivate them to do that, that's only going to help you down the line. That's Kyrie Irving. I feel like Kyrie Irving is one of those guys that don't really, he takes basketball seriously, but he has other things that's more serious than basketball that he wants to accomplish in his life. Kyrie Irving views basketball as an art, talent as an art. He feels like he's an artist. He feels like he's a musician out there. Okay. But and he would love to play half seasons. He just don't want to play the full season. I feel like those are a lot of reasons why Kyrie Irving isn't going to play for the Brooklyn Nets anytime soon. But I have already speculated to you guys. I feel like Kyrie Irving's coming back after the All-Star break. And after the All-Star break, he will play the remaining games. But then is Kevin Durant? You're betting and hoping on that Kevin Durant doesn't get injured anytime soon. You're betting and praying and hoping on James Harden isn't going to get injured. So this particular game, James Harden, you start to see the decline of James Harden. And that's what happens when you don't keep your body in tip-top shape in the offseason and when you become older, okay, and when the rules change, okay. I feel like those are 3 reasons why James Harden is struggling, okay. And I remember in that video, and we was all saying this on social media, I'm not the only one that said this, that we believe that the Brooklyn Nets just stole James Harden from the Houston Rockets. And we said, okay, Brooklyn won that trade. That was back then. But as of right now, the Houston Rockets are looking good right now. The trades, the draft pick that they accumulated from the Brooklyn Nets, they're looking like the leaders of that trade. They're doing good. Okay. Now, yeah, it doesn't reflect in the standings, but if they stay on this clip where they're not going to be contenders in the NBA, they're not going to be contenders for the playoffs, but they're going to just keep just like what happened to Oklahoma City Thunder and Sam Presti. They start drafting these solid players. They put all these young solid players on the floor and they just roll the dice that these solid players that they drafted become contributing players for the team. Slowly but surely, I know a lot of people don't see it, but the Oklahoma City Thunder has some pieces there, and the Houston Rockets have one or two pieces you're not too sure of. But give it another year. Let's just let's see how it plays out. Not to mention the fact they still have a multitude of picks for this up and coming NBA draft. Okay, so in retrospect, James Harden has declined, and the Brooklyn Nets, Steve Kerr, the organization, Kevin Durant, and even Kyrie Irving are banking on what the roster is going to finally look like when he comes back from his little hiatus. I feel like he's going to come back after the All-Star break, and we have to wait and see what who they lose in injury. Right now, the Brooklyn Nets really do not have enough pieces or enough draft capital to add another superstar unless they're willing to trade away Kyrie Irving. And this has been a problem with Kyrie Irving. When Kyrie Irving was selected for the Cleveland Cavaliers, he couldn't really do nothing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right. You saw flashes of Kyrie Irving when he was drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he couldn't stay healthy on the court. When the Cleveland Cavaliers had the opportunity of getting LeBron on their roster, you started seeing improvement with Kyrie Irving. They won a title. Kyrie Irving won a title with LeBron James. Then Kyrie Irving says, I want to be my own man. I want to make my own moves. I want my own organization. And he left Cleveland, went to the Boston Celtics, got a lot of young talent with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, that bunch, and could not get that team deep into the playoffs. And a matter of fact, that team went deep in the playoffs without the service of Kyrie Irving because Kyrie Irving got injured for the Boston Celtics. And actually, that team did a lot better with Kyrie Irving injured than they ever did when they had Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie Irving didn't want to stay in Boston, blamed the media why his relationship in Boston was icy at best. Blame racial issues with Boston, which they always had racial issues over there. Okay. It just seemed like to me, all this stuff just happened recently with Kyrie Irving on the later part of him being a member of the Boston Celtics. And he got out of that organization and went to the Brooklyn Nets. There was a possibility where Kyrie Irving could have played with the New York Knicks, but he wanted to play with his good friend, Kevin Durant. And that's when we started hearing the relationship between Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And we start, in a couple of snippets of them talking on social media. When you watch those videos, there was like an odd couple. Okay. To me, from what my opinion from it is, they really didn't have a lot of things in common. They had a few things in common. They didn't have a lot of things in common. The few things they did have in common was showing the organization that they left that they can win a title without that organization. Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors and Kyrie Irving with the Boston Celtics and LeBron James. I can win. I'm so talented. I can win a title without the organization, without the superstar in LeBron James. I just, it was me, and I'm the reason why we got a title in the first place. And I always said this about Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors, and I knew that he wasn't going to be with the Golden State Warriors for the future. And the reason why, because Kevin Durant was searching for an organization to love him and to treat him like their own. The problem is when you go to the Golden State Warriors organization, they already have three superstars. Two superstars. Two superstars and a star. In Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. They were the original members of New Edition. You know, when they come into town, they get the best cheers, they get the fan support, they get all of that. And when you get Kevin Durant involved in that mix, he's more of a Johnny Gill of New Edition. Yeah, he gets the cheers. Everyone knows who he is, but they don't respect him, nor they don't respect him more or love him more than the original members. And he could have won 6 titles with the Golden State Warriors. Those 3 guys were always going to get the most accolades, the most respect, the most love, and the most appreciation because they was drafted to that organization. So the fans are always going to be in their corner through good times, through the bad times, through through all the times. That you're never going to hear those fans neglect those 3 individuals or talk about let's trade one of those 3 individuals, because they're going to always have that backing from the fans. And that's what Kevin Durant was chasing. He wanted a home where he can get that type of respect and that type of love. That's what he was truly chasing. He was chasing friendship. He was chasing kinship. He was chasing fandom. All right. And yes, he was chasing titles, because without those 2 titles, Kevin Durant was already on par of becoming a superstar of what ifs. Like, what if he could have gotten a title with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and now he got 2 titles. So he was always chasing that. He wanted to be loved like he was in Oklahoma City. The problem is, KD, you went to the Golden State Warriors. Now, I don't care how y'all flip the script. Well, the Golden State Warriors begged Kevin Durant to come there, or Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors. It doesn't really matter how they got there. They got there. But he always wanted that appreciation like he got with Oklahoma City fans. But Kevin Durant has to realize and understand there's 3 other guys that was drafted there, and they've been there since day one of them winning. And they're going to always get the most love and the most respect than you, no matter how many titles you would have won. So he was running away from that, going to Brooklyn, wanted to start his own era, wanted to do his own thing. Same way with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving got a title with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but people would give all the credit, well, the majority of the credit, to LeBron James. Even though Kyrie Irving hit the shot, no one talks about the shot that he hit. People now more talk about the block that LeBron James chased down when they beaten the Golden State Warriors. And Kyrie Irving was frustrated. So he was always running away from that because he wanted his own team. He got it in Boston. Look how that played out. So now he's with the Brooklyn Nets. Look how that's playing out. So yeah, these 2 guys are chasing. They have some things in common. They don't have everything in common. And you start to notice it when you start peeling away from it. And why Kevin Durant never publicly took a side, whether or not on now he respects he respects Kyrie Irving's decision, but he's not co-signing all the way with Kyrie Irving's decision. But there you have it. So I feel like with James Harden, it's only going to get worse. I don't think it's going to get better. And I just think the Brooklyn Nets are just going to have to deal with what they have in front of them and the possibilities that they have. They're not going to make a move on trading Kyrie Irving because they know that would not make Kevin Durant happy. And why make a move? They're beating the team they're supposed to beat, but they're struggling with the teams that they should be competing. They should be that's got the same or better talent because they're one man short. Kyrie Irving is on hiatus, and James Harden isn't the same James Harden anymore. And the future of the Brooklyn Nets looks very spooky. It looks very sketchy. Even though they got a commitment with Kevin Durant, I feel like Kevin Durant signed that contract way too soon. He should at least let this year play out before signing that contract. That money was always going to be there. And remember, he signed that contract when they won the Olympic gold. All right. And if you look at it, and I guarantee you, if you can be a fly on the wall, Kevin Durant is probably saying to himself, man, what could have been if I didn't sign that contract and just be a free agent and then go into the offseason, then look at what's in front of me. Should I stay in Brooklyn, even though Kyrie Irving only wants to play half of a season and James Harden is a shell of himself? Should I continue being in Brooklyn, or should I just go to another team? And there was a slew of teams he could have went to. Now those teams are going to have to make it work and make it fit, because he's not going to these teams for peanuts. They're going to have to sign him max. They're going to have to sign him to wherever max they can get him to, or sign him to a 1-year deal so he can get the Larry Bird right. And then they got to sign him for some big time max money down the road. But yeah, so wow. I don't pretty much live stream a whole hour. Didn't even realize I live streamed a whole hour. So just to let you guys know, I have an IG account. If you guys want to follow me there, it's just my opinion. YT, meaning YouTube. You can go follow me on Instagram there if you want to send me messages or anything like that. That's fine and dandy. I'm gonna do snippets of my podcast on my IG. I think I'm gonna do a couple of snippets of this particular episode, and if I got time, I can do a multitude of them. But your boy don't have time like that. So I'm gonna try to get them up and up on my Instagram sometime tomorrow, maybe today, I don't know. But go follow me there on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter on Just My Opinion. I think it just says Just My Opinion on Twitter. You can go check me out. My icon will be on there. The same icon that you see right now will be the icon on my Twitter handle and my Instagram handle. So you guys can go follow me there. This was a great episode. Just My Opinion podcast, episode 9. I really do appreciate all you guys for watching the videos. And another announcement that I'm going to make, starting next year, I'm going to really put some razzle dazzle in my videos. Now, I'm going to do that, but be fully aware that it's going to be a lot of stories. Now, breaking news stuff, I'm either going to do a live stream or do the traditional way that I normally do, but something that I'm gonna spend a lot of time on. I'm going to put some real good effort into it. I'm not gonna be able to pop out like 100 videos a week, but if I do one or two, that's good for me. Hope it's good for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Anyone that's new in the building, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button. People that my day ones, you always subscribe. Please hit the notification and the like button. And please, my day ones, my new subscribers, anybody that likes my work on this YouTube channel, please share it with your friends, family, and followers. Okay. So yeah, I'm up out of here. I think the next video I'm going to do, and I'm not really concrete in doing it because really not a lot of stuff to talk about, was the video game awards. I might do that tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure. Anywho, it's your boy. I'm up out of here. I will see you guys on the next one. Okay, which every Monday morning I do the I'm Christian Down One live stream podcast episodes. Unless something happens during the week, I will do a Monday one, and I will do whatever happens later on that week. And then I will do it the old-fashioned way that I've been doing my other YouTube videos is, the still image, and I talk behind it. And I'm going to start cranking out one video. I'm going to say one video a month, where I put some razzle dazzle in it. I put some actual video behind it and some information behind it. Takes a little longer, but hey, if this is what y'all guys want, I'm gonna try to give it to you. Okay, so I'm up out of here. I will talk to you guys later. Deuces.